So, everyone, before we get to the video today, I am sorry that I've been gone a while. If you're some of the people that didn't catch the post, I had stopped posting for a while because I wanted to finish school. There was only like a month or so left, and all that. And, again, did say that I was gonna get stuff out in 2 days. Sorry, had house construction that I needed to work on, so that's why I'm a bit late. But anyway, thank you all for sticking around. Hope you enjoyed the video. Questionable Ethics, written by Calix Winterridge, Chapter 12, Proverbial Thinker. The marketplace had returned to a somewhat normal state, minus the stares that were being thrown my way once in a while. I felt like I wasn't wanted here, and that I'm out of place, but this needed to be done, whether those Kieran wanted me here or not. I approached one of the stalls nearest me on the left, closest to the bridge I walked over to get here. It was a small stall, for the most part only sold fruits and vegetables. The funny thing is that despite being an alien world filled with magical, fantastical things, I was actually able to recognize the food items that were displayed. The food was facing outwards towards customers, and were stored in wooden crates on the tabletop. The wooden bins were arranged like a sports bleacher, one row of items behind and above another row in front of it. On the top row were carrots, potatoes, beetroots, and a crate with an assortment of brown mushrooms. In front of that row was another row filled with apples, bananas, oranges, and lemons. Next to those rows of produce, hanging above from a wooden support that was structurally integral to the stall, was a suspension scale that had writing on it of which I couldn't understand. It seems that the Kieran language sounds like English to my ears, but reads differently. The language had symbols and assembled words that I've never seen before, which was definitely strange to look at. I believe this will be a rather large gap I need to jump over when the time comes. It would be at this point, after overlooking much of the offering that this little shop had, I would catch the eye of the stall keeper, who was hiding behind his table, underneath the green, striped, circus-like canopy of his produce stall. This Kieran was sand-colored with a brown mane and tail. He also sported a pair of emerald eyes, ones that watched me with dismay. The Kieran also wore a light red, almost pink apron around his chest fluff and body, and looked to be wearing some sort of mobile money bank saddlebag over his back. I would stand up, formally and casually approach closer to the stall as if I was approaching a future employer at a job interview. I would then speak after clearing my throat in an orderly and dignified manner. What I was about to do would be unorthodox back on Earth, so I figured looking as professional as possible would aid me greatly in this endeavor. "Good morning," I would say, trying to make my voice as professional as possible, my left hand gripping my Alice front strap, my other hand gripping my rifle sling. "I would like to purchase some food from your establishment." Saying this, the Kieran would rise up a bit from behind his table and would listen closer, his ears now swiveling about to face me. But, seeing as I'm a foreigner to this land, and have no stockpile of your localized currency of bits, I would like to inquire about some jobs you might have so that I may earn some, so that I might be able to exchange said money I earn for food. I would then cap this explanation off with a grin as I maintained concentration on trying to look as non-intimidating as possible to this Kieran I just met. And luckily it seemed to be working. As I finished speaking, the Kieran would reveal itself fully to me, and would stand next to his table like he was doing before I showed up here. You want a job?" the Kieran asked, bewildered at my request. I would nod in response. "Yeah, a job, anything that you might need to do between now and when you close up for the evening. I can take care of it for you in exchange for an equal amount of pay for my labor," I would say, as if I was trying to explain the very basics of capitalism to a 5-year-old, without sounding too much like a condescending asshole. Luckily, the Kieran was quick to grasp the concept.
Right, no, I get what you mean. I really don't exactly have much to offer you, in all honesty, but
I would cut him off quickly and reassure him of my willingness. Please, anything you need to get done, I will do no matter what it is. I promise to be as quick as I am thorough. The Kieran would freeze as he looked up at me, thinking of what I said while he was now lost in the moment of thought. He would look off to his left towards the market, most likely seeing all the gazes and stares of the other Kieran around us. He would then look back to me, shaking his head.
I'm sorry, the only job I have available, if you could call it a job, would need you to know the ins and outs of Perilous Peaks, as I need something delivered to some pony. You know, as far as I know, you haven't set a hoof inside this village since you've been here. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and if I am, I will gladly give you the job, but if I'm not, then I'm sorry, mister.
The Kieran would deliver this news to me while rubbing his forearm with his hoof. I was quick to respond to his allegations. Well, yes, it is true that this is my first time setting foot inside your village. And it is also true that I don't have extensive knowledge of the roads here, but I would say, raising a finger matter-of-factly, I don't think that knowing the streets of this village is integral to me delivering something to someone. The Kieran would tilt his head, now confused.
Well, no offense, mister, but I just don't see how you could deliver a package to some pony if you don't know where they live and how to get there.
I would respond quickly to tell the stall keeper with a hypothetical question that may or may not have anything to do with the current situation, but I felt it necessary to say anyway. True, but explorers of unknown territories don't know where they're going until they create a map. Do they get told by nature where things are in person, and they craft a map that way? Or do they let the environment make one for them by easily identifiable landmarks? I say, the Kieran's head would recoil lightly as his eyebrow would rise high up onto his forehead.
What? Huh?
The Kieran said as he stammered, his fear now practically disappearing as he was now more confused by what I had just said than he was scared of me, breaking down the species barrier a little bit and making him feel just a bit more comfortable around me.
I don't get what you're driving at,
he would say, scratching his head. To be fair, neither did I. I just sort of threw words together there to sound smart, and now I needed to back up what I said by making that mistake of a sentence make sense. What I'm trying to get at is, I don't need to know the streets of the village, I just need to know the general direction of the drop-off location, what's around it, and what it looks like, I said with confidence. The package will arrive untampered and in good grace to the recipient. Not that you need to worry about that or anything. The Kieran would start to give in as he hummed with thought, as his eyes would dart around overlooking the produce.
I don't know. The place you would be delivering the package to is a house amongst other similar-looking houses,
the stall-keeper said as he looked up at me again. I would nod. This is fine. I'll just ask around for the house belonging to the Kieran I need to deliver the package to, or you could tell me any specific identifying differences about the drop-off house. As I say this, I can see the stall-keeper weighing his options as he continues to think, humming as he does so. I would then lean forward a bit before delivering my next selling point. I also happen to have extensive experience as an infantry scout and marksman sniper. I was deployed to my battalion sniper platoon, first as a spotter, then as a sniper after going through extensive marksmanship training. I have served many of my battle brothers over the years successfully and have racked up hundreds of hours in the field, reconnoitering enemy positions and allocating targets. I'm sure I'll have no problem finding the house. The Kieran would freeze up again, processing everything I said with visible difficulty. It would then speak after a long pause.
I have no idea what any of that means. I also don't know what it has to do with this current task.
I would rethink what I had just said and would try again, this time explaining it a bit better while also, again, not trying to sound like a total asshole. I know how to read maps, gauge distances, use compasses, locate landmarks, and talk to locals well enough to find objects of great importance. And I've been doing that for 10 years while serving in my nation's armed forces. I would respond, igniting that grin I had from earlier as if I were a child trying to get an extra hour of TV watching privileges before bed. Upon my explanation, the Kieran would concede. Nodding his head, he would speak.
All right, you've convinced me, mister. I'll give you the job.
He stood up, confident in his decision, before taking a few steps towards me to stand toe to hoof.
What's your name, by the way? I don't think it's right calling you mister all the time. It's a bit rude, you know.
I would nod my head. My name is Corporal Adrian Shepard, but you can call me Adrian. I say, holding out a hand for a handshake. The Kieran looked down at my hand and then back up at me, confused. I felt like I had been in his shoes before. I would explain what a handshake was, and the Kieran would give a dry chuckle in understanding and would place his hoof in my palm.
Short change. Nice to meet you, Adrian.
We would firmly shake each other's appendage.
I hope I can count on you,
he would state, turning back to his stall. I would prove him right. Well, everyone, I'm back from the dead. Anyway, for like the 5th time now or something like that, my audio has changed a lot. And that's because I now have sound padding all over my little studio area, as probably a few of you I have shown. That's only for people that are in the Discord. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this short part / chapter, and I will get the next part out very soon. Like I said in the beginning, if you didn't skip over it, that is, you know, kind of had house construction I had to do, so there was that. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this chapter / part. Have a good day, and stay golden.